gave them this ability to accept the command to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is revealing to them. And it's not a serial revelation like the mountains, the sama. The sama is huge. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left, earth too, but the sama is the one where the angels are traveling. The sama is the one which is the home for Lawh Mahfuz, for the guarded tablet, where his book is going to be. Sama is the place from where everything is going to come down to earth. And if the sama is rebellious and says, no, I have this book and I want to keep it. No angel can come and take this book for me. This is my book. So Al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah said, no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have punished them, but this is also to teach us. This is mentioned. This ayah, the part of this ayah is mentioned, come willingly or unwillingly. Meaning, the might of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is such that those who do not want to submit willingly, they still submit unwillingly. Because the lack of submission is only at the apparent level. And this is where every time I read the introduction of Tabri's introduction, like he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Hujjatul Baligha, he has established his conclusive proof by inflicting on all his creation this incompleteness, this naqs, these losses that happen, this feeling that we are not in control anymore, something has happened. We have a cancer, our body is just not what it was. We have lost this and we have lost that. We have this grief. And in this part, those who do not submit to the last breath, they have still submitted because death has taken them out. They could not have death. Kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut. So that submission at the existential level, everything at the level of wujud, everything at the level of existence is in submission. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the heart, and the heart that is pulsating within a human being who says, no, I don't believe in Allah, I don't submit, I don't think there is any creator. But the heart is doing its job. It has submitted to the command of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this amazing organ, like this. If you just think of the heart itself, like the physical heart, it's just unbelievable what it's doing right now in our bodies. And the person says with his tongue, and this says, no, I don't believe. The heart says, yes, yes, yes. Otherwise it wouldn't be pumping. At the level of the cellular organisms, every little tiny minute atom is in submission at the level of existence. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, okay, use your intellect, use your heart, do what you want to do, because otherwise there is no purpose in creation. Are there any questions?
So there is a question from the Zoom audience. Are there 7 samawat and 1 earth, or 7 of both?
No, both 7, we mentioned that last time. And because the mention of the 7 earths is only once in the Quran, and there isn't that amount of reflection normally, but in the tradition itself, there is tremendous amount of material about what can be the possible 7 earths, whether this is layers of 7 earths, one upon another, just like Tibaka, khalaqa samawati tabaka, like layered heavens, is easier for our comprehension to be able to conceive of 7 layered samawat compared to 7 layered earths or 7 different kinds of earths. Yes.
Brother, when you say Quran says the world, earth is created in 7 days, created in 7 days.
In 6 days.
6 days.
Sama and earth.
Yeah. And Samawat created after earth was created. When you say day,
Right.
day is a concept that we use today, and it's a calculation of time, a measurement, depending on the sunshine to sunshine. So if the earth is created before the samawat, which includes the sun itself, how do we say day?
Yes.
Before the sun was created, how do we say or use the term of day for the creation?
Right.
Would that be having a different meaning than what we understand today?
Right.
As a duration or as a description? Whatever. Is it really related to the revolution of the earth, or is something else?
Right. This was one of the questions that I had listed for today's class about what is meant by 6 days. And the question here is specifically about the day, the word we use for to translate yawm.
Yeah.
Yawm in Arabic. We translate it as day. And what does it mean? Is it duration from day break to night? And because earth was created before, there was no sun. And what is it that we can understand from 6 days in these ayahs? So this is a huge question connected with the concept of time, and inshallah this would require a whole class, whole session in itself. And that would include other terms used in the Quran for time. The short answer today is that time is a human construct. Like we human beings cannot conceive anything without the constant presence of time. And for us, time is in the 3 forms in which the Arabic verbs can be conceived: past, now, present, and future. These are the only 3 possibilities for human beings to conceive anything. Whenever we think about anything, time is the silent background unless we specify that this happened yesterday or in 1920, unless we are conscious of some event. Now, at the time of creation, again, the time of creation. See, we cannot even think about anything without time. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning in this Sittati Ayyam, because can we think about language? Is there a possibility that our minds can think without the use of language? If not, then the language itself is intimately connected with time. Because the language has either nouns or verbs or particles. Like we have words for action, we have words for names, like this is snow, this is sky, this is earth, or we have particles. harf. When we use nouns, nouns are independent of time, apparently. Like when we use earth, for example, earth is a noun, sama is a noun, sun is a noun, moon is a noun. But in reality, we don't have them independent of time, because as soon as we pronounce the word, we have put a time frame in our conceptual understanding of any noun, Zaid, Umar, any human being. Immediately we know we are talking about somebody who is present now in this dunya or in the past, or maybe we are talking about a child that's going to come and would be named Zaid or Umar. So the time, earth, the sun, we immediately have some kind of concept of time. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions Yawm in the Qur'an, of course it has connection with the day. Like when we are going to fast, there is a connection with the duration, there is a connection with the sunrise and the sunset. But it also has a timelessness in it, from the perspective of the time that we know of. Meaning, for us, time started with creation. Not just the sun, because that's the solar time. Now we have a concept of, for example, the time of the Mars or the moon. We have other times now, because we can think of other scales of time. And then when physics started to go into the details of cosmology and how the whole thing started, the scales were too small to be understood. And then we have Planck's time, we have quantum time, we have come up with new scales of time. Light years, for example, is the distance that it takes. It's not time, measure of time, but it's a measure of distance. So 13.7 billion years ago, we say, the Big Bang happened. We actually don't really, no human being has the capacity to conceive 13.7 billion years. We don't have that capacity. What do we understand from it is a long duration, and we'll end this here at this concept, because we need to spend some more time on it. But the last thing that I wanted to say is that the measurement of time itself is extremely problematic. How do we measure time? Is a very artificial. It's a very artificial construct in our thinking, because this clock here, it's not measuring time. No clock is measuring time. Like we say, when they invented the watch, they said this is chronometer. The word was chronometer, the meter that measures chronology, the time. But was it measuring time? Like if we set all the clocks of the world wrong, like right now it's 10:40. If we some magic say the entire earth, all the clocks are 11:40 instead of 10:40 right now, would anyone know the difference? No. Because these are mechanical or electronic now machines. What they do is, when they invented the clocks, I don't know if you must have seen those old clocks with that hundreds of gears in them, one after the other, when you open them. What they were doing they were making a mechanical system which would be stable to the extent that the dial, the needles would move on the dial uniformly. That's how they achieved uniformity of movement of the needles. When they moved to the electronic structures, these little devices that they have, now you put a battery in there, and we have these digital numbers moving. What are they doing? I don't know if you ever noticed, I have one little digital clock. In 1 week, it's 2 minutes faster than the rest of the clocks. Why? It doesn't know when the sun is rising. What is it doing? It's programmed, this little green, very dangerous, very small, tiny, heavy metal laden circuit there. What it's doing is, it's moving these digits uniformly. But because the circuit is imperfect, after a week, a difference of 2 minutes has come. It has nothing to do with the time itself. It's just this little system in itself. In other words, human beings cannot conceive something called time in any real sense. These are functional, approximate measures that we start the class at 9:30 and we are supposed to end it at 10:30. But this is the duration that we have set out of our lives, which themselves have a time. They are programmed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to begin in a womb at a given moment and end at a place and time that only He knows. So that duration is the actual measure of time for that one life. The measure of time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set for everything He created is not in days, weeks, months, years. This is a different concept of time. And if we could understand that concept of time, and then if we could hope to expand it to the timelessness of Jannah, yani there is no, when we say it will be forever, khalidina fiha, we all pray and hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would end our duration here with that opening, when it will be said to us, Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutmainna irji'i ila rabbika radiyatan mardiyah fadkhuli fi ibadi wadkhuli jannati. O the tranquil nafs, He is pleased with you and you are pleased with Him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take us in a state of when He is pleased with us. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اشرح صدورنا ويسر أمورنا ونور قلوبنا. اللهم افتح لنا أبواب رحمتك يا كريم. اللهم افتح لنا أبواب رحمتك. اللهم افتح لنا أبواب رحمتك. اللهم يا شافي اشفي قلوبنا من كل داء رب العالمين. اللهم اشفي بطوننا من كل داء. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. يا شافي اشفنا يا كريم. اللهم اشفي صدورنا ويسر أمورنا. رب اغفر وارحم أنت خير الراحمين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين. السلام عليكم.
Recording stopped.